I really didn't even want to film like this, but this is exactly why I keep disappearing. I look like a mess, and sometimes I feel like, how can I look like this? But I say that I want to be in the fashion and beauty industry. Like, that don't even make sense, right? But it's like, this is my real life. This is how I really look, and this is how I really be feeling sometimes. Like, just, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like, people just don't show that as much. They don't show this part, but this is a part of the becoming because I have the vision in here, but the outside just ain't catch up yet. You know how that goes. But yeah, so this is how I feel. This is my real life, and I feel like a huge reason why I don't be consistent is because I always look how I feel. Okay, I look a mess sometimes. I feel chaotic sometimes, and sometimes that shows up in me not doing my hair at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, this is real life, okay? And I know I said I was gonna come next week, okay? And it's only been 2 days, but here I am again because I want to be consistent and I want to show up. And I almost didn't film today because look how I look, like I said. But it's like, girl, if you're gonna keep doing the same thing, you're gonna stay in the same spot. You have to make a change. So even if you look a mess, you need to get up and film. Maybe I could have done my hair. Okay, I could have done my hair. Yes, you're right. Okay, I know I could have done my hair. However, that's neither here or there. But that's just one point of why I feel like it's so hard for me to be consistent because I show up or I allow myself to go about my day being exactly how I feel rather than changing how I feel, rather than doing my hair, rather than getting dressed up. I don't like look the part. I say I want to do fashion, but I don't be dressing up. And I feel like another thing is that, like, girl, for me, I have been creating content for years, and I also have not been showing up as myself in my content for years as well. That has been a big struggle for me because I feel like for me, I'm like, I don't want to show up as something that I'm not. And whenever I would get a lot of traction, I would end up stopping myself, coming back, reeling myself back in because I'm like, but this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel true to who I am because I'm showing up as this quiet girl who doesn't have anything to say, who talks so sweet. But that's just not who I am. Like, yeah, I'm a nice person or whatever, but I just don't talk like that. I just don't act like that. I don't have this quietness about me. Like, I can sometimes, yes, that is true. However, but that is just not who I am as a person and as a whole. And one thing that I really was thinking about a few months ago is I don't want to be in a room. I don't want to be getting invited to places from these brands or from these brands or whatever. And it's not in a place that it just doesn't feel like a place that's aligned with who I am. Like, I don't want to be in a place where they invite me because I have this persona online, and when I show up in person, they're going to be like, oh, who's this? Like, you don't act like yourself, or you're not acting how you act on social media or on YouTube or whatnot. That just don't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right for me to show up a certain way when I know that that's not who I am on a day-to-day basis. Like how I wasn't showing up in the way that I talk to my actual friends. Like how I talk right here, this is how I talk to my friends. I talk regular. Like, it's not, I don't know. And, other people could, I don't know. But for me, it just doesn't feel right. I don't like it. I don't like feeling like I have to be this certain way. And I know that that's not who I truly am at my core. So that for me was like a big thing. I'm just like, I don't want to have things that just don't align with who I am. So for me, that was another reason why I just kept on disappearing and feel like I cannot be consistent because I'm not true to who I am. I'm not being true online to who I am in real life. And that was just not okay with me. That's just not okay with me, okay? So, yeah. And then another reason why I feel like I couldn't be consistent was because to some degree and at some point, I started thinking about what other people are going to think. Oh, like I already mentioned it. They might be like thinking, oh, but you're not this way. You're not so quiet. You're not so this. You're not so that. And I'm like, oh, my bad. Like I started having those thoughts about what other people are going to think of me. And that was just, I don't want to be perceived a certain way. It's just the same. Like, so they both like the same. I don't want to be perceived as something that I'm not. And I feel like another thing is just that I haven't been very happy in my life, and I feel that with me not being happy in my life, that I just feel like if I showed up constantly in this unhappy place, that I was always going to continue to put out content that just didn't feel right, didn't feel true. And I don't like that. Like, I guess the moral of the story of this whole thing is of what I'm saying for me is that if it ain't true, then I don't want to do it. If it ain't true to me, then I don't want to have no parts in it, because that's is it just doesn't work that way for me. Like, my brain cannot really believe that I should be doing something when it doesn't feel right, when it doesn't feel aligned. And so I just have continuously been putting it off, continuously disappearing, continuously not showing up because I don't like the way I look, or I don't like the way that my life is, or I don't like the way that I'm showing up because I don't want people to think this, or I don't want people to think that. None of that is okay. So I am actively doing things in my mind. I'm working on myself, okay? I'm working on myself. So yeah, that I just wanted to get on here and say I'm just trying to be consistent again. And like I said, if I'm only talking to myself, hey Crystal. But if somebody else could feel me, like, chime in, let me know that I'm not alone. But for now, I'm gonna try to come again in a couple of days. I'm trying to come again on my birthday next week, okay? Yeah. Do you want to see my birthday outfit? Do you want to see my birthday hair? Oh my god, I'm gonna do a hair video for my birthday, okay? I'm just putting that out there in advance, just in case I actually have some people who, vibing with me. But I got like a little birthday dress, I got birthday shoes, I got this hairstyle that I want to try, that I have never tried before. I don't know, but girl, if you down to ride with this new YouTuber, even though I've been doing this for years, I'm gonna call myself a new YouTuber, period, because I'm still new to the game. But I'm also true too, because I know a lot of different things, okay? But anyways, so yeah, if you're down to hang out with this girly for her birthday, then stay tuned, because I already told you when my birthday is. And if you don't remember, then go back to the other video from Monday, okay? But I don't know, I'm gonna try to do these little talking videos a little bit more, just so you could get to know me, just so you could get my, feel my vibe, feel who I am. And oh girl, that how am I about to close out when I did not touch on one more thing for me that has been so big? Community. I have been feeling so alone. That is it. Like, oh my goodness. I know I touched on it on the last video, but I did want to talk about that a lot more. But I think I can save that for another video in a couple more days. So maybe just stay tuned for that one. But community, or the lack thereof, having a community, not having a community, not feeling like there's anybody actually walking this journey with me becoming myself. Or even back then when I was doing it a certain way, it just never felt like I was with somebody. Like, nobody commenting, nobody talking to me, people in person. Sometimes, they kind of talk to me in person about it, but it's like never like real community building on this, like on these platforms, or none of them. So I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to be talking to myself, like I said in another video. But okay girl, I'm gonna call you back in a couple days, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Talk to you later. Peace.